We'll call the meeting to order.
Welcome to Nixa City Hall. This video is going to provide you with an overview of how the City of Nixa conducts City Council meetings. We encourage everyone to attend and participate in City Council meetings. This is part of how democracy works at the local level, listening to the perspectives of subject matter experts, city residents, and other community members helps our elected leaders make more informed decisions. Before we start the meeting, let's review some of Council's rules of order. These rules help us make sure our meetings are orderly and efficient, while protecting the ability of everyone to have an opportunity to speak. Please be respectful of the person speaking and hold your own comments until it is your turn to speak. Presenters are invited by the Council to provide information during the meeting to the Council. These are informational presentations only, and nothing will be voted on at the time of the presentation. Presenters are not time limited. There are 2 times when all other visitors will be able to speak to Council. The first is during the visitor section of the agenda, and the second is during any public hearing regarding an agenda item. During the visitor section, anyone may speak to Council about any topic, whereas the public hearings regarding specific agenda items allow you to make comments for Council to consider before they make a decision on that topic. Whether you wish to speak during any public hearing or the visitor section, the following rules of order will apply. 1. Only one person should speak at a time. Be respectful of the person speaking and wait to speak until it is your turn. 2. Anyone speaking must do so from the podium and speak into the microphone. 3. You must first state your name and provide your address in writing to the city clerk before beginning your comments. 4. All speakers will be given 5 minutes to make their comments to the Council. The mayor or Council may have additional questions for speakers after this 5-minute period. 5. All comments should be addressed to the mayor and Council. 6. If you have questions about existing city processes, programs, or policies, or if you need assistance from staff on any issue, please contact City Hall during normal business hours and we'll be happy to assist you or answer any questions you may have at that time. The public hearing is designed to provide the public an opportunity to provide testimony and information to the mayor and council regarding the decisions they may be considering. Keep in mind this meeting will be recorded and live streamed with video and audio. Therefore, all comments relevant to this meeting must be spoken into a microphone, otherwise video viewers will not be able to hear you. In the case of a closed session or technical difficulties, some meetings or portions of meetings may not actually be recorded or streamed. The use of cell phones during council meetings is discouraged, so please silence all devices now. Thank you for watching, and thank you for engaging with the City of Nixa. The meeting will begin shortly.
Sean Lucas.
Here.
Jared Giddens.
Here.
Aaron Peterson.
Here.
Darlene Graham.
Here.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that one on the video. It sounded really good. We will move on to our proclamation section. We have 2 proclamations this evening. Whereas September 17th, 2022 marks the 235th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Brian Steele, Mayor for the City of Nixa, do hereby proclaim September 17th through the 23rd, 2022 as Constitution Week in the City of Nixa. And I urge all citizens to study the Constitution, reflect on its privileges of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that honor holds. All right, we have some ladies from the Daughters of the American Revolution here to fix that. Over here. Got a nice banner, but it disappeared.
Yes, those are yours. I moved on my head. So you can see it. District 2. Popejoy, 3. Okay. Oh, look at Sheila.
I think that's the one proclamation we've always done every year. We have, even through COVID and everything else, we were able to do that one every year, at least since I've been mayor. So very honored to be able to do that and to recognize such a great document. All right, we'll move on to our second one. Whereas hunger and food insecurity issues are issues of grave concern to the United States and the state of Missouri and Christian County, and whereas the city of Nixa is committed to taking steps to raise awareness about the need to combat hunger in every part of our city and to provide additional resources to the citizens of Nixa in need, and whereas Nixa is committed to working with Least of These Incorporated, Christian County Food Pantry, and educating people about the role and importance of food pantries in addressing hunger and raising awareness of the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger issues, and whereas more than 20,000 individuals in Christian County rely on food provided by the Least of These Incorporated Christian County Food Pantry annually, and whereas Least of These Incorporated Christian County Food Pantry distributes more than, I'm going to get all the commas here, 1,992,000 pounds of food in 2021, and whereas food banks and food pantries across the country will host numerous events throughout the month of September to bring awareness and attention to and encourage involvement in efforts to end hunger in their local communities. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Brian Steele, Mayor of the City of Nixa, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2022 as Hunger Action Month in the City of Nixa. I think we had someone from Least of These. I didn't see anybody. I didn't see Kristen. I thought Christy was going to be here, but we will pass this on to them. Along that same note, any of you that are interested, next Thursday, we will be holding a blood drive here at City Hall. You can sign up for that. It's the Mayor's Challenge blood drive between Nixa and Ozark. So again, always great to beat Ozark and save lives. And the winning mayor, between myself and Mayor Jackson, Least of These will receive a $500 donation on behalf of their city or their school for the Can the Tigers Can the Eagles food drive that Least of These puts on. So that's another great way that you can help out to support Hunger Awareness Month as well. All right, we'll move on to our visitor section.
Pat Melton.
My name's Pat Melton, and I live at 313 North Market here in Nixa, and I've lived there for 42 years. And all the time that we lived here, we did not have much trouble with traffic for the school. The last few years, our homes are getting where we can't get in and out at certain times because of the school traffic. At my house, I live right in front of the school, and people start bringing their kids at 7:15, and the traffic is there till after 9, coming and going, some of them sitting. They park in our drives, even though there's signs up to tell them they're not. I have went out and asked some of them to leave, and I've got very negative attitudes, telling me to call the law. I've called the law, and they couldn't get out there fast enough to get them. And it's almost like we're in a prisoner in our own home, and then in the afternoon, from 2:45 till after 4, we can't get in and out our drive. If we have an emergency, which when my husband was alive, we couldn't get the nurse in and out fast enough because people was blocking our drive. And there's quite a few elderly people on our street. I don't know what can be done, but something needs to be done. I feel like I'm a prisoner. And I don't like that. My family we have to set our hours between 9 and 2, or from after 4 on, to be able to get in and out and come and go as we ought to. We shouldn't have to do that. So I'm speaking, hoping that Yunus can come up with some idea of how to get the traffic flowing a little bit better so we don't have to feel like we're prisoners in our own home. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Milton.
Ron Sanders.
Hi, my name is Ron Sanders, live at 976 Glen Oaks Drive, and I appreciate Constitution Week. I think that it's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to this world. And tonight I'd like to talk a little bit about the Constitution, specifically a couple of amendments in the Bill of Rights. And I'll explain why this is very important. In the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right to the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Happens a lot right here, and I'm glad that we have that privilege. The Fourth Amendment says the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. It's been a very important subject that I've been watching over the past few months. And if you go on YouTube, you go on some of these other places, you see these guys, they call themselves auditors. And they like to go around and they like to antagonize police using a camera to get them to do things wrong, to search them, to detain them, to do crazy things. Like arrest them for taking pictures. And it's like not here, right? You would think that
Has been here. Yep.
it's
We
not
definitely-
going to happen here, and we're never going to see very much of that. But on Friday, a gentleman took a picture of a school over in one of our neighboring cities. Just one picture, just one. And next thing you know, he's being questioned by police, by the school resource officers, which are part of the county sheriff's office, for taking a picture. Not so much addressing this to you, but the whole city. It is not a crime to take a picture in public. It's not a crime to be on the sidewalks in public. It's not a crime to take pictures from the sidewalk anywhere. Anywhere that you can see from a public space is allowed to be photographed or filmed. So if you do have privacy issues, then you must secure yourself from those public spaces. You cannot demand the police to come and stop somebody from speaking in public, from taking pictures in public, or from coming here to redress their grievances, even, so long as they're doing it in a civil manner. For anybody that doesn't know, I have 2 minutes left, there are basically 3 different levels of free spaces, of public spaces. You have the public sidewalks, which are pretty much open. Open as in anybody can do just about anything, so long as it's not unlawful. Then you have a second level, which would be public spaces like the public lobby or going into publicly accessible offices where you're there to do business or you're there to conduct some type of First Amendment activity. And that's legal. If somebody wants to come in and do a little bit of videoing of our fine people in the clerk's office doing awesome jobs, then by all means. And then we have the third level, which would be here, inside of proceedings like this where there are rules that must be followed. But at the same time, those rules must still respect the freedom of speech of the people who are coming here to speak, so long as they follow the rules. The last thing that I want to see is a bunch of instigators come down to our city and try to harass the cops into making a mistake, and then the city end up paying exorbitant costs in settlements and stuff like that. So this is a good time for everybody to be aware that, yes, it is okay to take pictures in public. It is okay to video in public. And no, the police should not be searching people. They should not be detaining people or arresting people unless they've actually done something wrong. Hopefully that everybody hears me tonight, can understand that, and put everything into perspective and keep our city sane. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders.
Sheila Tolan.
Hi, my name is Sheila Tolan, and I live at 304 North Market. And the reason I'm here, and several of my neighbors are here as well, to discuss the ongoing traffic issues with parents dropping off their kids at school and picking them up. As Pat said earlier, we have to accommodate the schools. She is losing much more time than I am. I'm actually asked to find something else to do for 2 hours a day. This is twice a day, 5 days a week, 10 months out of the year, because you have to also consider summer school. I am right next to John Thomas School, and I believe, my personal belief is that John Thomas suffers the worst as far as the traffic is concerned, because parents have to bring their kids in. No, I'm not saying no kids are bused, but the majority of kids that come to this school are not bused in from way on this side of Nixa to that side of Nixa. So there are parents that are having to drop their kids off. And these parents, all they're concerned about is getting their kids to school. A lot of the neighbors have to suffer with people blocking their driveways. I actually have pictures today showing of the driveways that are being blocked. I also have pictures of how the buses are on one side on Cherry Street. The parents are parked on the opposite side of the road, and it is creating an issue where there cannot be any emergency vehicles to get to my home, the school, other people's homes in that neighborhood. If the school catches on fire, how are the emergency vehicles going to get there to rescue our children and our teachers? I love Nixa. I love Nixa's schools. My kids went there. I don't want to live anywhere else than Nixa. But right now, I'm so frustrated and heartbroken that we can't find a solution for this problem. And I'm a little bit more heartbroken because I've also been dealing with the police on this matter. We as a neighborhood have been told we can tell people, as he just said, we have the right to speak to people, take pictures, whatever we need to do. Like I said, I have pictures. When people block me in and I have to go pick my grandson up from Century because he's not in the lottery for this school, I am sometimes late getting him to school or late picking him up, or I have to go an hour early to drop him off, and the schools don't want you there any earlier than a certain time. So now I'm at the school and they're getting upset with me because I'm waiting. So I wait for my traffic to get through, and then I end up going on Highway 14, which is also now stopped traffic because people are trying to get on Market Street to go to John Thomas. So we now have police finally this year getting involved. We have the school resources, which are now sitting in front of my house to help prevent some of these issues. We also now have police on the other side of Highway 14 because business traffic cannot proceed through the highway. So they're having to conduct there. This past week, I was asking someone to move their vehicle, which I have been told I have the right to do so. I needed to leave. In that process, the woman proceeded to move forward and into the middle of the street and videotaped me, which she has the right to do. But she was videotaping me cleaning my truck out, but yet she's hindering the traffic flow, which is something we all are trying to eliminate. I had the police called on me for being aggressive to her by knocking on her window to have her move from where I can get out. I ended up with the police officer there. School has already said, you can do this to help yourself. We will do what we can. The police officer told me I am not to approach any more vehicles. I cannot knock on anybody's window. They all ignore us. They just act as if there's something else they're doing. They don't answer to us waving our arms or even yelling out our doors. I knocked on the window. She took it as if it was an aggression and that I had no rights. I was threatening her life. What are we as residents supposed to do? Do we have the right to do this? Do we not have the right to do this? I'm upset because I don't have a clue. The officer told me I am no longer supposed to deal with them. I am to call the police department and they will deal with them. By the time the police gets to my home, it will be too late. And I will be late for my doctor's appointments, for anything else I have to do, for my grandson to wait, and then the police will investigate me and ask me questions why I was being aggressive. I'm sorry if I'm a little about this, I'm sorry. But these are my concerns, and I really would like a solution, what we can do as a city and the school. So do you guys want to see these pictures?
Are they the same ones you sent to me before, Sheila?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
did send those around.
You did?
everybody
Okay,
already.
awesome. Yes, thank you very
Nope,
much.
thanks, Sheila. So yeah, I did get this information before, and I passed it on to Chief Campbell and Mr. Lyles, the city administrator. He's not here tonight. He's at a conference, but and they were looking into that, and they did contact. I also contacted Dr. Lloyd to voice our concerns there as well. Chief, do you have any kind of updates to that?
Mayor, I did reach out to Captain Hartzell over at the school district, expressed the concerns that were expressed to us, told him that we probably need to be working on a long-term solution to this. He agreed to that, and the first thing he said he would do was place additional officers. It sounds like they did do that. As far as this latest incident, I haven't had any contact with Captain Hartzell about this latest incident with the confrontation with the vehicle, but it's certainly something that we're willing to work on, try to come up with a solution. Unfortunately, sometimes those solutions can be very costly when you start talking about roadways and building and expanding roadways and things of that nature. So I think our best bet is to come up with a creative way, work with the schools, try to come up with maybe a better traffic pattern to solve the problem. So it's not being ignored. We certainly hear your concerns, and we would like to have an opportunity to come to a conclusion.
Okay. Yeah, any type of road construction, we would have to wait until the summer anyway, because you wouldn't want to do it while the school was in session, right? It'd be almost impossible to get in and out for anyone at that point. But yeah, I think if we continue to work with the SROs, we'll work with the school district as well to try to figure out the best solution short-term and then a longer-term solution as well.
Daniel Rock.
I'm Daniel Roth, 303 North Market Street. Our problem's been well put up, but I do have a solution. This JTS, or the school, owns the property behind the school. It's probably, I don't know how much acreage, quite a bit. Anyway, there's no reason why they can't have a parking lot back there and take care of the problem. There's also a right-of-way on the west side of the school where a vehicle could come through. If it's a legal right-of-way, I don't know.
Yep.
But anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's definitely something we'll talk to the school district about and see if they're able to expand out their parking lot or something else that would help support it.
Right.
Yeah.
They could use more parking. When the school has any after-hours things that's very well represented,
Yep.
and there'll be parking on both sides of 14, and I never did go up to Cherry Street, but I imagine it's the same way.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Lloyd.
Hello, I'm Chris Lloyd, 307 North Market, and we've already beat this horse to death, so I'll just go ahead and give you my opinion real quick. We've only been here for 2 years. My wife and I were both retired, but we found out about the problem with the traffic, and I have a solution. Coming from 14 up to the school, let's put up some no parking signs on the right side, all the way up. This way, fire trucks and police can come in from 14. Anybody who lives on Market can come in from 14 and still come up, because when they come in from 14 up and then they come in from Cherry down, everybody that lives there, we're breaking the law because we're driving in the opposite lane, getting back to our home when the cars are parked there. So if we put no parking up from 14 all the way up to the school, then nobody's breaking the law. Everybody comes in from 14, comes up the road, or as the gentleman said, the school could go up Rice Street, from Rice Street into their lot along their fence, make a wide driveway where they can double park, come along that fence to the other fence, and come on up to the parking lot. And then they can go out any way they want. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Michelangelo.
Hi, thanks for letting me address the council. My name is Michelangelo. I live on 903 Yellowstone Street, not Market. My wife and I moved here a little over a year ago. Love it, absolutely love it. And I was wondering, because I know there's an election coming up next April, if I remember correctly. I don't know all of you, you don't know me, and I don't know the new candidates that are running. So is there any type of meet and greet with you folks to, have people like me? And I know there's a lot of new people in Nixa that could get acquainted, make sure that the person I'm voting for is more aligned with my values, that type of thing. Sure. Other than a bio that's on the website, because I can't ask questions. I can't address, I'm old school, so I can't address someone directly and see their faces and that type of thing. And we love it here, and that was just the first part of what I wanted to talk about. So I don't expect an answer right now, but it's, food for thought, so to speak. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the proposed tax increase that's coming up on the ballot. I know it's 1%, but if you just indulge me, I think that I'll support the police 100% anytime. I love it, but again, this is just my opinion. Is it really a good time right now with the economic environment and everything coming up to build a $25 million community center? Again, my opinion. But I had a couple of questions. I don't expect any answers, of course, tonight, but I just wanted to voice my opinion, and I do appreciate the opportunity to do that. So if the proposed measures pass, when is construction projected to start on both the police and the community center? How long would it take to complete each project respectively? Is there, are the short-term, how are the short-term building costs being funded? Will there be any municipal bonds? I'm just kind of, I'm cognizant of the clock, so I'm kind of rapid firing here. Will there be any municipal bonds issued? Because I'd love to get in on some of that. Would the business owners be responsible for paying for the upgrade to the sales tax software, or is that part of the overall cost of the project, respective projects? I think that, and again, my opinion, guys, so there's a lot of expenses, a lot of stuff coming up in 2023 that's going to affect the folks here and everyone here. I got a little notice in the mail. I don't know if anyone else did from Spire. They're going to have they're talking to the Missouri utility department, the state utility department, I can't remember the name of it, but about an increase that is going to take effect in 2023. And it's pretty, percentage-wise, it's pretty sizable. Again, from what I read, and I do read the Nixa website, it looks like there's a 1.5% increase to the electric rates or the electric distribution. My background is communications, and what I mean by communications is, the other thing I was interested in is the broadband issue coming up. I've worked for Samsung, Motorola, Nokia, Cisco, so I have a pretty broad range. I understand what's going on, so I was curious to hear about that, but sorry, I digress. My main issue is the timing. The Fed is meeting either Wednesday or Thursday, so we'll know if there's going to be an increase, which there probably will be, whether it's 75 basis points or 100 basis points. So any costs incurred, if there's interest, those are going to be up, those are going to be higher. And again, just wanted to throw a lot. There's a lot I said, and I know we don't have this time to discuss it, but I would support an amendment for the local police. Quite frankly, I would. Not so much a new community center at this time, and I wanted to qualify at this time. So again, just my opinion, and I thank you for your time to listen to me.
Thank you very much. Try to answer a few of the things. So as far as meet and greets for the election, that is a challenge. We always have, it's always hard to do that or to find someone who wants to facilitate such a thing. As far as us, you can contact any of us via email or phone at any time. I think all of us are happy to meet with just about anybody, anytime, for the most part. And so that's part of our position, and so we're very happy to do that at any time. We're also at almost any event that you would have in the city, at least one or more of us would be at that event as well. So as far as the timeline for the sales tax, I'm not sure. Did we end up, we're going to issue bonds for that? I'm not sure of the answer to that question. Yes, okay. So there will be municipal bonds issued. As far as the timeline, we would start on the fitness center, or recplex, or whatever we're calling it, sports complex. We would start on the sports complex because that would be the easiest. It'd be green. It'd be green field, be open thing to start on, and the hiring of additional officers. Those are two of the key elements, and we would start immediately on that. We'd take a little time for the police station because we would have to move the current utility billing into this building, and so that would take some time to do. So it'd probably be a few years, especially with construction backlogs at this point in time. Be a couple of years for the what am I calling it, Matt? One more time? Sports complex. I want to say recplex, but you don't like that, so the sports complex, and then maybe 3 or 4 years for the police station, and then of course the police officers would be immediate. What was the other thing?
We talked about the utility increase.
Oh, utility increase, yes. Yeah, I understand Spire is doing that. We actually had a decrease this year, so we decreased utility electric rates 5%, I want to say 6%, something along those lines. We were able to actually decrease, and we hadn't increased rates for 5 years before that. And then we do have a plan for the 1.5% increase for the next 4 years after that reduction. So hopefully that answers some of them. If you got any additional ones that I didn't answer, please feel free to send us an email. All right. Nope, that's it. All right, we will close the visitor section and move on to whatever the next thing is. Oh, Justin Moore. We can just skip that. That doesn't sound like any. All right, I'll move on to our council recognition. We'd like to recognize our friend, Councilman Orff, who served long and well on this council. He was at the time of his election, he was the youngest member to ever be elected to the Nixa City Council. He's done an amazing job, both in providing insight from a political and active in his community, and also from his professional goal as an engineer. He was able to provide a wealth of information and input on many projects that we had, and did just an amazing job. And we have to say, he's grown up a lot since he's been up here, and we appreciate him, his views on the community, on issues that we have faced, and we're incredibly proud of him and incredibly proud of the things he's going to be able to go out and do in the future. And we are very saddened. I can speak for everyone. We're all very saddened to see him leaving this dais. So I have a clock to present to Councilman. I can't call him Councilman Orff anymore, I guess.
No.
Mr. Orff. Anyone else like to say anything about Mr. Orff? Council?
I have to get one last jab in. I just didn't think I could learn so much from a child, so, thank you.
I wasn't gonna put it
What's-
that way,
what's
but
the-
Justin's really helped.
No,
me.
you're great
What's
to
the
work with.
verse? What's the verse? The children will leave us. The
Oh.
children will lead us, right? All right, we'll move on to our declaration of council vacancies. Now that Mr. Orff's a quitter, and we will move on to replace him.
So mayor and council, as you can see, we have 2 open vacancies on council. Justin Orff resigned from his seat in August, leaving a vacancy in District 3. Amy Hookstrat resigned this month, leaving a vacancy in District 1. And at the September 26th meeting, a resolution will be brought back to appoint the council members that will be temporary until April, until the election. We have had 5 letters of interest for District 1. Todd Davis, Matt Ogden, Scott Perryman, Brian Popejoy, and Tamara Ruman. We've had 7 letters of interest for District 3. Seth Baylog, Jeff Belcher, Elizabeth Dudash Buskirk, Dustin Hall, Christy Hendrickson, Mariah Smith, and Karen Keever. Karen did remove her letter of interest this morning. That leaves your 6 active letters of interest for District 3. And at this time, we will allow any individuals who are here and have turned in a letter of interest to address council. This is your opportunity to tell council why you should be selected to fill the open vacancy in your district. You'll have 5 minutes to make your comments. I'm going to start with District 1 and call you up in alphabetical order. So we'll start with Todd Davis.
Mr. Davis? I'm going to say Mr. Davis is not available. We can move on to the next one.
Matt Ogden.
Before we get started, I want to take just a second to thank all of the people who put in letters. With the turmoil we've seen in recent times, having people that are that committed to our community or willing to put their names forward and willing to make that commitment to the city and to the council, it's a great thing, and I appreciate all of you for signing up.
Thank you. My name's Matt Ogden. I live at 693 Fox Hill Circle in Nixa, Missouri. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to even be a part of council. I just want to start out by telling you guys kind of who I am, where I come from, and my life experiences. So first off, I grew up about an hour and a half northwest of here in a little town called Lockwood, Missouri. I moved to Nixa roughly 11 years ago. My wife grew up here. In my life, I grew up on a farm, so I know what it's like to wake up early, work hard, and just be a part of a small knit community. Moved to Nixa, working for Ozark Electric. I worked on power lines, built power lines for the past 16 years. Great job. With that job, I've got to know the area, the community of Nixa. And then also in my time here, I've started my own business. My wife has started a business here in Nixa. We love the people here. We love our community. One of the big reasons I'm here is because I wanted to keep our community awesome, growing at a controlled rate, keeping it safe, supporting our police. With my business, I build homes. I've got to know a lot of the city staff. I've got to know a few of you. I'm looking forward to working with staff, with you guys, on not slowing things down or causing problems, but to working together to make our community a better place. This past year, I've actually switched jobs. I work at OTC, I teach young men how to become electrical linemen. With this job, I've learned so much on government, political, how our money's spent, how we can use certain bonds and grants for certain things. So I'm in a constant state of learning of finances through the government eyes of what we can and can't do. Like I said, I'm just looking forward to working together with the city, with you all, just to keep our community awesome, going in the right direction where we're headed. Once again, I'm easy to get a hold of. Any of you or anybody that has any questions on who I am, where I come from, what my thoughts are, I'm always free to answer those questions. I have nothing to hide. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden.
Scott Perryman.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Good to see you again. My name's Scott Perryman. I live at 916 Fort Court, and I'm a little hoarse tonight, so I'll keep it quick. I just wanted to volunteer my experience to be of service if the council would like to have me back to help them through the budgetary process. I know we've got budget season coming up. I just want to help get done things that need to get done. Let's see. I've got prior experience. I was on city council for 3 years. I served as District 1 councilman, and I'm still here. I'm eligible, and I just want to volunteer my experience. I think you're going to have some good candidates for the position. I didn't know or not. We didn't have that when Friday, I didn't think we had anybody yet, and then I come in. I guess we all waited till Friday. But at any rate, I'm here to, because I believe in being a servant leader. I think that from my perspective, I'm here just to be of some service. I have no ego involved in this. I don't care about titles. I don't care about whatever else. I just want to offer the experience that I have. And I don't have any special talents. I'm really pretty average intelligence, and just a normal average guy, but I do have enthusiasm. I love the city. I love the people here. And the other thing I have is industriousness. I do like to work hard. I know that coming on at this part of the year with budget season coming up is not all that much fun. I've been through it a few times. But anyway, I'm here to offer that experience to you should you want to have me back. And I think you've got a lot of good candidates. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes having to choose. And I wish you all the very best, and I'm always here to serve. Thank you for your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Perryman.
Brian Popejoy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Brian Popejoy. I reside at 612 North Alexandria Street, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a stay-at-home dad of 3 kids. I have one 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So obviously, I'm well-versed in de-escalation. I have been retired, as we like to say, for 7 years. My wife is a pediatric dentist at Jordan Valley Community Health Center. Right now, I coach for NBC, which is Nixa Baseball Club. This is going into my 4th year, and I love it. I'm asking for your consideration for this because we've been here 6 years and have seen Nixa grow and grow and grow. And I just really would like to be a part of helping us grow and get bigger and make decisions with everybody else and help resolve some of these issues that some of these folks had this evening. Yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Any questions?
No?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tamara Ruman.
We've had very good luck with husbands of pediatric dentists in the past, haven't we? Mr. Vogel, yes.
Hi, I'm Tamara Roman. I live at 715 Hightower, and I've got lots and lots of leadership skills. I've been a supervisor for 7 years now. I do work in some customer service, so I deal with a lot of escalations, so I'm very good with that. I work from home, so I'm pretty much available whenever. I'm very forward-thinking. I'm definitely accountable for my actions. I've received an award for integrity at my work, which I think is huge. Really don't have that much to say because I think I put it all in my letter. So just glad to be here. And we just moved here 3 years ago. And I mean, just to see how the community came together for the family was just amazing. To see a restaurant, serve 1,000 pizzas in one night, it was just amazing to me, and I would just love to be a part of that and, help our community, but also help others that come in, not only to live here, but also to visit and make sure that they have a good visit as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roman.
Seth Baylog.
Okay, so this is now District 3. That was the end of District 1.
Yes, that was
This is
end of
now
District
okay.
1,
Just
beginning of District
for
3.
everyone's notes.
My name is Seth Baylog. I live at 882 West Heather Glen. Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself tonight. I'd like to begin by saying it's an honor to have the opportunity to be considered for the District 3 interim position. I'm hopeful that a brief overview of my background within 5 minutes, the reason for my interest and why I should be selected will help the council with this decision in the coming days. Professionally, over about the last 15 years, I have held several executive level positions within multiple sectors, including higher education administration, compliance and regulatory affairs, healthcare training, the pharmaceutical industry, and cybersecurity. In many of those roles, I was responsible for managing large budgets, coaching teams, and leading several tech transformation initiatives. I've also, during my time in the higher ed space, taught courses in biology, psychology, and statistics. Academically, I've successfully navigated both undergrad and graduate education through to the completion of my doctorate in biobehavioral science. This has afforded me the opportunity to develop, conduct, and publish on a number of exciting scientific research topics in the areas of learning and memory, as well as addiction and developmental learning disorders. Experientially, and perhaps most relevant to this role, is the fact that I've been appointed to and elected to serve on several boards and councils in the past, which include a current role as the president of the Woodfield Homeowners Association here in Nixa, the Missouri Council of Chief Academic Officers, the ACICS Board of Directors, and I was the chair of the Arizona Commission for Post-Secondary Education. During my time with each of these groups, we tackled sensitive and challenging issues at local and international levels in areas like higher ed policy and workforce development. While the discussions were not always easy, I learned to appreciate and seek to emulate the respect and open-mindedness required for healthy debate. I share all of this because I would leverage this diversity of experience for the benefit of the council if selected. I would use my knowledge of the behaviors that drive efficiency, as well as how I have seen challenges overcome in the past if selected to serve. The reason for my interest, as I stated in my letter of interest, my wife and I moved to Nixa to raise our family in what we were told was a safe city with great schools and great people. Those who told us that didn't lie. My family and I have grown to love Nixa, and although not born and raised here, we proudly call it home. Over the last 10 years, my family and I have loved living in Nixa and benefiting from the decisions of the council. So I'm excited that this role would allow me to be part of the team dedicated to continuing that positive momentum already in motion while we set about tackling the issues at hand in a collaborative manner. If I had to summarize why I feel I should be selected, I would say I feel like I have the right mix of academic and professional experiences that would add favorably to the council during this transitional time. While I know I would have a lot to learn, I would commit to carefully considering the next steps associated with our work, not only maintain, but also enhance Nixa. I also feel that my prior board and council level exposure will allow me to hit the ground running and therefore minimize the disruption of the recent vacancies during this interim period. Thank you very much for your time tonight. Regardless of the outcome, I'm excited for the great things in store for our community.
Thank you, Mr. Baylog.
Jeff Belcher.
I'm Jeff Belcher, 203 South Ellen, Nixa, Missouri. I pretty well put my resume. This felt like a job application in my letter. I'm not going to bore you to death with that again. You've already read it. Again, this is for you guys, not so much the public at this point. Again, you've already gotten the letter, intents and reasons and all that. I did catch a news story about 30 minutes before coming in tonight on KY3, and Mr. Douglas presented one of the things that people need to look at is characteristics and traits of these candidates. And I thought that might be a good time to go ahead and hit on those. I did not hit on those in my letter. As far as characteristic traits, commitment and drive, that would be one of mine. I just kind of run off 5 or 6 of them here. Honesty and integrity, sometimes brutally honest. Some take it, some don't. 3, I call it how I see it. I don't sugarcoat a whole lot. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. There ain't a whole lot of gray matter there. Thick-skinned was one of the comments mentioned during that latest news article this afternoon. Resilient and traditional. And I kind of go back and hit on each one of those. As far as commitment to succeed and see things through, you know, everybody up here knows I was a part of the recall process we saw through. I had no clue what it was, how it formed, how to start it, anything other than my own digging and research. We had 700 voters come out for the original election to get Mr. Steele elected. We ended up with over 4,000 votes for that recall election. Public awareness, people paying attention, I'd call that a victory for the city. Honesty and integrity, that's pretty well my policy full-time. If I'm chosen for this seat, there will be no division created within the city by examples such as driving by a Halloween exhibit and ooh and ahhing in public and then going behind everybody's back in private groups and condemning the people, creating division. That's not straightforward. I call it how I see it. I caught a lot of flack over the pool event at our X Center, the Nixa Center. I thought it was wrong. It was a bad look for Nixa, I feel, the way it was handled. Thick-skinned, I'll address that as well. I've been attacked from several groups, we'll say, since the recall, and just about every meeting following the little update, status updates on Facebook and whatnot, following every meeting. However, I'm still here. Resilience. All of this, and I'm still here willing to remain in the ring after everything we've done, you know, with the recall and resignations and personal attacks and all that. I'm still here. I'm not a quitter. Nixa is my home, and I will continue to fight for the core values that led us to live here. Moved us here 16 years ago to raise our children, and now 2 of our 4 grandchildren call Nixa home. And the last traditionalist, I guess, Nixa was built by farmers, tradesmen, and hardworking folks, blood, sweat, and tears. I assure you, I still pull up my jeans and lace up my boots daily and take great pride in that fact. And to kind of wrap things up, I can't believe I got this much time left. Also in that interview I saw prior to coming in, Mr. Steele had a comment, "For evil to triumph, all it takes is for good men to not stand up." I believe I've been standing here for almost going on 3 years now. I'm not going anywhere. Would it be a different capacity on that side of the podium? Absolutely. Can I guarantee a success? Absolutely not. I'm no mind reader. Just know that my heart and my mind and my work ethic are all in the right place to do the right things for the city of Nixa and keep it a place I'd like to call home for myself and my grandchildren. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Belcher.
Elizabeth Dudash Buskirk.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Dudash Buskirk. I have lived in Nixa at 1227 Verna Lane for 8 years. I am currently a professor at Missouri State University, so I commute, and part of the reason for that was to put my children in the schools here in Nixa. If Jerry Seinfeld is correct, then most people would rather be in the casket than giving a eulogy at a funeral. As a professor of political communication, an active citizen, someone raised by a father who was a public servant all his life, including after he was dead when people still listed him as an endorsement on their campaign signs. Politicians are brutal. Speaking isn't hard for me, obviously, but it is a lot easier for me, and I imagine almost everyone here, to sit in the audience and speak as a citizen. We get to say what we want. We don't have to listen to anyone else or consider their opinions when we do speak. We could create our own echo chambers of saying what we know people will agree with. I could be sardonic and sarcastic, and I can walk away after a rhetorical question with absolute assertiveness. I can make faces to communicate my feelings when I'm sitting back there. I don't play poker. It's a lot easier being an audience member. What is hard is making a promise to listen openly. It is hard to choose something that you do not like because the majority of other people do. It is hard to serve. City Council and the mayor are nonpartisan government offices. Often the policies that you consider aren't political, except that they are in fact policies. It is hard for everyone to turn off the decision calculus of black versus white, red versus blue, creamy versus crunchy, and find the commonalities that we need to start with in order to find solutions to our divisions and our disagreements. But it must be done. To speak and self-serve is easy, but to listen and serve others is a lot harder. My degrees and my understanding of public debate are not qualifiers for a position on council. But my work with Be Civil, Be Heard, listening to the needs of my students, working with the Arts Council to help underprivileged children in Springfield, working with students to start their own clubs and social movements, writing bylaws and guidelines for various university, community, and political organizations are all projects of service that require a lot of listening. It also requires critical thinking, weighing benefits, and crafting a response that lets everyone know that they are heard and they are wanted for further conversation. In short, we kind of have to work together. It is disheartening to see so few people show up to city council meetings. I know that. It's hard to listen to people who aren't even here to participate. It's difficult to serve those who think there's only one way to do something. It's hard to explain to someone that while you can't fix their specific problem, you've done good somewhere else. Service is hard. Our council needs people not with thick skins, able to handle criticism, but instead, councils need people who make decisions based on the best options at the time, who can adapt and change the things that need to be changed, and the people who can communicate the reasons behind actions that are taken. If I was a city council person, I would really not look forward to the vitriolic criticisms, but I know there will be some, and they will require listening, but very rarely do they require a response. I would ask that we find tenets of civility to make available at meetings, tenets that we have used for over 20 years in the National Civility Project and that work well for public debate. Progress through civility is what we say. I have asked myself the difficult question. It is a difficult question to say, apparently. Do I want to give up my opportunity to defend my side of a debate because I need to represent others? I've decided that I do. I do not believe that means I'm giving up any part of myself, but merely prioritizing the needs and desires of others first. In the first year of public service, it is necessary to listen hard, speak infrequently, and learn. And that's what I would want to do. I bring to you a devotion to civic discourse, a talent for forming arguments, an ability to find the best persuasive points, and understanding that policy is for all and not the same policy for one. We seem to be small. We're at the bottom of a very, very tall ladder. Dr. Baylock makes me think sometimes that this is against my better judgment. But with the support of family and friends, I would like to join you on City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dashbutskirk.
Christy Hendrickson.
Doesn't look like Ms. Hendrickson is here.
Mariah Smith.
Or Ms. Smith.
That's the end of our list.
we miss somebody?
Karen Keever had turned in a letter of interest, but she withdrew it this morning.
Dustin Hall?
He is off my list. Yes, I'm sorry, Dustin Hall.
Okay. Thought we're missing somebody. He's not gonna be here. He's not gonna be here. Okay. That was kind of my question. I was gonna ask him, is he gonna have trouble because of the schedule?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank all of you who spoke. We appreciate all of you coming this evening, and we will have some consideration and decide at our next meeting who we will appoint to those positions. Yes, and yes, both of those seats will be open in the April election. So this is just an interim position between now and then, and we will have 4 seats up for election. I think 2 in District 1 and 2 in District 3. So all the seats in District 1 and District 3 will be up for election in the April election cycle coming up. All right. Move on to our first readings.
First reading, Council Bill number 2022-091, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract with Schaefer and Hines Incorporated for engineering services related to improvements to Main Street from Tracker Road to Highway CC.
Travis.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance to authorize the city to enter into a contract with Schaefer and Hines for engineering services related to the expansion of North Main Street and the widening of that system from Tracker Road to Highway CC. This project was identified as a CIP in this year's budget, with the engineering portion of the budget identified as $212,000. The bid from Schaefer and Hines came in at a little over $195,000, which is well below the anticipated budget for the engineering portion of the project. This is a federally funded project through the Ozarks Transportation process, or the TIP amendment process, which allows for us to be reimbursed 80% through the federal program for a cost of $156,205 to be reimbursed upon completion, with local funds equaling $39,051.44 towards the construction project for the engineering side of it. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have regarding the project itself or the engineering contract in front of you.
Any questions? Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
We'll open up a public hearing if anyone would like to speak to this item. And we will close the public hearing. Any further discussion? This is your project here, Ms. Graham. Yep. All right, no further discussion. We'll move on to the next item.
First reading, Council Bill number 2022-092, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement for Christian County Hotel Market and financial feasibility study.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. At the last council meeting, August 22nd, council passed an ordinance that would amend the budget to appropriate $13,000 for the city's portion of a hotel market and financial feasibility study. Show Me Christian County had approached the city of Nixa to partner with the city of Ozark and Christian County to complete this study. The total cost for the study is actually $39,000, with the $13,000 being Nixa's portion. As you all know, a hospitality study would provide us with the information that we need to properly market our potential, our community to potential hotel developers. Before moving forward, an intergovernmental agreement is needed to be completed by all parties included, City of Ozark, the City of Nixa, and Christian County. The agreement lays out each entity's responsibilities and the costs associated with the study. Staff does recommend approval of this ordinance. Do you have any questions on the agreement or the study itself?
Any questions?
We had planned on doing a feasibility study in actually 2023, but this opportunity allows us to start the study earlier and save money by partnering with other entities. Any questions?
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
And we'll open up the public hearing.
I would be interested in, my name's Ron Sanders, 976 Glen Oaks Drive. And I'd be interested in knowing whether planning and zoning would be able to facilitate comfortable beds as a requirement, maybe? I don't know. Just a thought.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. We'll leave open the public hearing. Hopefully you won't have to stay in it. You won't have, because you just live down, you'll just live down the street. You won't have to stay in the end of the beds. Seeing no one else, we'll close the public hearing. Any further discussion? We already budgeted the money. I guess we should approve the agreement. And move on to the next item.
First reading, Council Bill number 2022-093, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending the 2022 annual budget to appropriate funds for the city's portion of the feasibility study for regional broadband.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This bill is to approve a budget amendment that would allow the city to participate with the Regional Broadband Initiative Board. In the future, I'll call that RBI to save everybody a little time. And it's for a rural broadband network feasibility study. If you'll remember, in April, Mr. Lyles came to you and spoke about this, allocating funds to be paid to Springfield City Utilities to conduct the request for qualifications for a broadband feasibility study. That was completed by City Utilities of Springfield, and the board reviewed several responses. They had selected the broadband group to cover the study. You may or may not, a couple of you may or may not have heard of the broadband group. We spoke to them at one time many years ago when we looked at doing the fiber to the home. The broadband group provided the scope of work that's included in your packet, which was agreed upon by all the members of that RBI board. The total cost for the feasibility study is $291,860. The same formula would be used to calculate the City of Nix's cost as was used to calculate our cost for completing the RFQ process. That is based on, of course, the addresses within the city limits, and puts us at 10.62% of the total. So the budget amendment we're asking for is in the amount of $31,000. And of course, staff, we recommend approval of this, and we also recommend that we utilize the ARPA funds to fund our portion of this study.
Any questions? Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
And we'll open up the public hearing. If anyone would like to speak to this item. And we will close the public hearing. Any further discussion? Just want to make sure the point that this is just a feasibility study, so it's fairly low cost of what it would have cost us to do the same thing ourselves. So by partnering with all the other suburban communities and Greene County and Christian County, we're able to come out with a much lower cost to at least get us the information to see what the possibilities might be in the future. All right, move on to the resolutions.
Resolution number 2022-091, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa supporting the tax credit application for Parker Development to the Missouri Housing Development Commission to support the development of property generally located along the 900 block of South Gregg Road.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Parker Development is applying to the Missouri Housing Development Commission for low-income housing tax credits for a development they call Westbury Place. The site location is approximately 5.9 acres located along the 900 block of South Gregg Road. If selected, the concept would include 48 dwelling units. If developed as part of the MHDC's LIHTC program, the housing units will be supplied at a rent determined to be affordable to families with incomes at or below 60% of the area median income. The site is properly zoned for this type of development. Again, this is just a resolution of support to include with their application to MHDC. Staff does recommend approval of this resolution, and there is a map if you scroll down a little bit of their concept. It is the same as last year. The only difference is that they included a little access to the property to the south for future expansion if approved for funding.
Now, this is by the roundabout, right?
No, this is further south.
South of
Okay.
St. Francis.
South Greg.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way.
On Greg Road.
Okay.
You're going the wrong direction, yeah.
Well, someone had asked
We
me
have,
about
we
that
have had
property.
one up there before. We have
Yeah.
had one of these there
Okay.
before that didn't.
That
get-
was usually one that was also applied for, but this year it's just this one.
It's because someone asked me about that, and I'm going, I don't think so, but I'll ask.
No, I believe I believe it's changed hands, so I don't think
Okay.
they'll be applying for, at that location.
So this is down in my neck of the woods.
Yep.
Okay.
So is there there's additional R3 in that area? There's additional property in this area that's already zoned?
Correct.
They
This
they
whole,
could add to at some future point?
correct. So this is all part of a much larger R3 zone property. So there is room for expansion.
And then it's connected to an R1, the rest, the other,
Yeah, I believe it's the Oakhurst subdivision, currently undeveloped.
Yeah, that's an empty field right now.
any other questions? Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
And we'll open up public hearing if anyone would like to speak to this item. And we'll close the public hearing. Any further discussion? I'll accept a motion to approve.
So made. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll go for nothing.
Resolution number 2022-092, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the sale or distribution of alcohol on city property and authorizing a multi-day event for the proposed Creepin' at the Crossroads special event.
Mayor, council, good evening. Staff is in possession of a special event permit for Creeping at the Crossroads, which has turned into an annual Halloween/fall event located in downtown Nixa. This year it's planned for October 22nd. They are planning to sell or distribute alcohol on city-owned property, which would be the public parking lot located at the northeast corner of South Main Street and East Elm Street. So they are in pursuit of a liquor license through the state, which is required by our code. This also requires Nixa City Council to approve or pre-approve the event. Again, this still requires staff approval through all the departments that are required on a special event permit. This year, the event is also expanding a little bit, so they are requesting temporary closure of South Main Street to Glen Street and also all of East Elm Street. Again, this is something that if they aren't in possession of their liquor license before the event, then this authorization in this resolution becomes void. Staff does recommend approval. If you have any questions, I'm available.
Any questions? Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
And we will open up the public hearing if anyone would like to speak to this item.
Mayor Steele, council members, Hugh Carnahan, 337 East Lindbergh, Nixa. This sounds cool. It's stuff that all the other places around us are doing, having events. Folks about my generation have a few kids. They don't like driving so far away to enjoy Nixa, so I think that's very nice for a lot of my friends and folks my age, early 30s, mid-30s, would enjoy that. That's it.
Name one more time a little slower.
Hugh Carnahan.
Thank you, Mr. Carnahan. Old people like me also enjoy these events. Say. And we'll leave the public hearing open if anyone else would like to speak.
By the way, you should know this is called Creepin' at the Crossroads.
No G.
No G.
Creepin', Scott. Okay. We will close the public hearing. Any further discussion? Take a motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Resolution number 2022-093, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa making appointments to the Regional Broadband Initiative Board.
Hello again. We'll speak about the RBI board again. One of the things that this RBI board has done is they want to ensure that they have board members put in place with, of course, council authorization, and so we can document that. They also want to put in place a proxy in case the board member is not available. That's the way this board has been acting the whole time so far. I have served as Mr. Lyle's proxy, so I've tried to be on all the meetings as well as him. We both missed one or two, but between the two of us, we've been able to make it. What this resolution would do would appoint Mr. Lyles as the board member for the RBI board and would appoint myself as the proxy board member to follow in case he's absent.
Any questions? Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.
And we'll open the public hearing. And we will close the public hearing. Further discussion? Motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Darlene's quiet tonight, so it's hard to hear.
Resolution number 2022-094, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa imposing an administrative delay on the acceptance, processing, and approval of applications and permits for self-storage land uses within certain general commercial, highway commercial, and neighborhood commercial districts generally located along Massey Boulevard, Mount Vernon Street, and Main Street.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. I'm before you this evening to present Resolution 2022-094, which, if approved, would impose an administrative delay on the application and processing of applications for what are called self-storage land uses. But only those self-storage land uses which are occurring along Massey Boulevard, Mount Vernon Street, and Main Street. Administrative delays are usually imposed to give staff time to draft code amendments to address a policy concern that's been raised in the community, and also to avoid the council being put in a position where it feels like it has to draft hasty legislation to respond to a policy issue that may have arisen. So it puts a pause on everything so the legislative body can really get its arms around the issue and regulate it in a way that makes sense. My understanding is that the city has been presented with concerns over allowing self-storage land uses along the city's primary commercial corridors. Hence, I was asked to draft this resolution and present it to you this evening. And as I said, if approved, this resolution would impose an administrative delay that would expire on December 31st. The city does have some experience with these. Some of you may recall on the truck, tractor, trailer issue, the council imposed an administrative delay while the staff and the legislative process worked through the amendments on that. It's staff's intention to have these amendments drafted in time to meet this December 31st deadline. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can on this item.
Any questions? Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
And we will open up the public hearing. And we will close the public hearing. I normally do not like things that restrict personal property usage. People own property and they own it under a certain set of rules, but in this particular case, since we are a little short-staffed, planning and zoning, we do need a little extra time to look at this, so I think this is a good pause while we consider the changes and move forward with those at a later point. Any other discussion? Points of view, considerations? All right, I'll accept a motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And that takes us to the end of our agenda. Anything else from staff?
I'd like to remind you the Nixa Alliance meeting is Wednesday, 6 p.m. here at City Hall.
Correct. Yes. We will be there. I did mention the Mayor's Challenge Blood Drive, which I'd like everyone to go to the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks website, and you can sign up for that. Just search for Community Challenge or Nixa, and you'll find it. I'd love to defeat Ozark. It's one of my favorite things in life, and we will be very happy to take that victory along with the Backyard Bash victory. The other thing I had was liaison reports. Everyone loves liaison reports. I think we are to Mr. Peterson or Mr. Lucas. Everybody else has gone recently. No, Aaron and Sean have not. So would somebody like to?
I don't, my department is a little.
Are you planning and zoning? Okay, we'll wait for the new planning and zoning director.
And I have finance and human resources.
They're great. They're the most fun.
So you mean
Budget isn't, budget
you
budget
mean
is
bother
the
them
one.
while they're working on the budget?
Well, we can postpone it till January. Okay. And then you can talk about how the budget process went.
There we go.
Sounds good to me.
Everyone bows out.
All right. Anything else from council?
Citywide garage sale.
Oh, yes.
Fall.
Citywide garage sale is this weekend. I think it's past the deadline to sign up with the chamber, but we hope everyone takes advantage of that opportunity to have the garage sale.
And there's not a need for the usual garage sale permits for this.
For this weekend. Yep.
It's over 200 that are signed up, like 250 something.
Very good. Very cool.
Mayor, I did have a question. How are we proceeding with the appointments?
So what we will do is we'll take nominations next meeting, and we'll, next Monday. So it'll be a short turnaround. So we'll take nominations at that point, and then we will have a vote and majority of council. Hopefully there's only 4 of you now, so hopefully you can agree and come up with the selection that everyone can agree on.
Okay.
If you all agree on the same person, you can let me know. I'm happy to do the nominating part of it, which is usually what we've done in the past, I think, is where I just nominate them, but there are so many people. I want to make sure you guys have the opportunity, that you have the opportunity to nominate someone as well.
Okay.
All right. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.